Hey there, hi there, collective. It's me, Priscilla B, and welcome to your energetic upgrade reading with me, Priscilla B. So, I bought this book, Meditations on the Tarot. Okay, and this book talks a lot about the different pretty much like this author's interpretation of the tarot deck. So I thought it would be interesting to compare their definition of tarot and compare it to other definitions of tarot, the tarot cards, the major arcana specifically. Okay, so we're only going to be using the major arcana, and I'm pretty much going to draw one card per every sign. For this video, though, I am going to be drawing one card for everyone, and I feel that we should start with the card that the author started with, and that is the card of the Magician. So I'm going to be using, yeah, they don't start with the Fool. It's interesting. They actually don't start the major arcana with the Fool card. They start it with the Magician card, letter 1. Okay? So, the Magician. Okay? Dear unknown friend, the words of the master cited above have served me the key for opening the door to comprehension, the first major arcanum of the tarot, the Magician, which is in turn the key to all other major arcana. This is why I have put them as an epigraph to this letter. And then I have cited a verse from the Songs of the Soul of St. John of the Cross, because it has the virtue of awakening the deeper layers of the soul, which one has to appeal to when the concern is the first acronym of the tarot, and consequently all the major arcana of the tarot. For the major arcana of the tarot are authentic symbols. They are magic, mental, psychic, and moral operations, awakening new notions, ideas, sentiments, and aspirations, which means to say that they require an activity more profound than the study of an intellectual explanation. It is therefore in a state of deep contemplation, and always ever deeper, that they should be approached, and is the deep and intimate layers of the soul which become active and bear fruit when one meditates on the arcana of the tarot. Therefore, this night, of which St. John of the Cross speaks, is necessary, where one withdraws oneself in secret, and into which one has to immerse oneself each time that one meditates on the arcana of the tarot. It is a work to be accomplished in solitude, and is all the more subtle for recluses. Or suitable, I mean. Okay. The major arcana of the tarot are neither all allegories nor secrets, because allegories are in fact only figurative representations of abstract notions, and secrets are only facts, procedures, practices, or whatever doctrines that one keeps to oneself for personal motive, since they are able to be understood and put into practice by others to whom one does not want to reveal them. The major arcana of the tarot are authentic symbols. They conceal and reveal their sense at one and the same time according to the depth of meditation. Okay, yeah, so there's secret, mystery, subconscious, consciousness. Yeah, so pretty much what's happening here is that he doesn't, the author doesn't really have like a defined definition of the Magician card. In fact, he really just wants people to know that like the aspects of what the Magician means, okay, it's totally up to whoever is channeling in and doing that reading. Whatever messages come from that. And you might get your messages and your truth and your method from religion, Christianity, or philosophical, mystical, Gnostic, scientific. You pretty much can get your version of the magician card from every symbol, every religion, every spirituality, every sign, everything that you have ever absorbed in your existence. And what is the message? It's very improv, I would say, is the right word for it. Improv. Whatever first comes to your mind. Okay? Whatever first feeling you have that you're able to express verbally. So, that being said, I'm going to draw the magician card for you so you know what it looks like. And then I will tell you my interpretation. So, the magician. Okay, so this is a man with his hand reached out, and his hair is like needs to be brushed. Okay, he looks a little disheveled here. He's wearing robes with these like pentacles on them, like a clasp on his robe. There's a red moon behind him that you can see. He has uh the four, it looks like he has the four elements, like, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell because it's almost like an orb, a pentacle, that could be a sword and a wand. It also looks like a little tiny box there. So what kind of energy is this magician giving you? He's grasping for something here. I feel like he's looking for answers. I feel like he wants to know the truth. He's seeking, no, I'm not going to say absolution, but I mean, given the fact that we are, like, this book is about, it's called Meditations on the Tarot, A Journey into Christian Hermeticism. Okay. Published for the first time with an index and Cardinal Hans Urs von Balthasar's afterword, this new English publication of Meditations on the Tarot is the landmark edition of one of the most important works of historic Christianity. Yeah, this guy is reading What is My Purpose? Written anonymously and published posthumously, as was the author's wish of the intention of his work for the reader to find a relationship with the author in the spiritual dimensions of existence. The author wanted not to be thought of as a personality who lived from 1900 to 1973, but as a friend who is communicating with us from beyond the boundaries of ordinary life. Using the two major arcana of the tarot deck, or 22, the 22, as a means to explore some of humanity's most penetrating spiritual questions, Meditations on the Tarot has attracted an unprecedented range of praise from across the spiritual spectrum. Okay, so here we go. Energy upgrade. Okay, so that being said, okay, I am not really sure what we can really do without having more information. Like, we don't have enough information to go off of. All we have is this magician card. Okay, all we have is like the magician looking for answers, is trying to solve things. So this is my Darkwood Tarot book. Okay, so originally I was going to just draw one major arcana, and because this feels so like improv-ish, improvisational, okay, I don't know if that's a word, pretend it is. Let's see, okay, what we have here. We have balance and we have network. Yeah. There needs to be more ideas. There needs to be more thoughts. There needs to be There needs to be more information. Like, we can't just go off of, okay, the magician is supposed to be like all religions, all spiritualities, all concepts of thinking and logic, laws of principles. Yeah, we have to know more to find the truth. So, if we need to know more information to find the truth, then that's going to help create balance. Okay? And I am using my Akasha Oracle deck, okay, in order to help with that. So we have network, okay. I feel like if this is what the magician is about, it's about practical teaching, it's about theoretical teachings, it's about finding unity in of the natural world, the human world, and the divine world. It looks like this network can help with that. And it's also going to help create more balance. Okay. And it says here olive tree and ivy. Okay. So looking at that, all right. And then we're going to get into the dark wood and what the dark wood thinks of the magician energy. Okay. So looking at that, balance. Let's see what the spiritual meaning behind the olive tree. Also, like a dove will like an olive branch, like an offering of peace. I don't know what I'm thinking. Maybe this is like, hmm. So, the olive tree is one of the most enduring symbols in human history, carrying deep spiritual meanings across cultures, religions, and mythologies. Yeah, and what that's really like what we're trying to accomplish here with this energetic upgrade is we're trying to understand more deeper meaning of what the magician is trying to create. I feel like the author is the magician because he intentionally skips over the Fool card, which is like the start. It's the current journey. It's ground zero, starting from scratch. He doesn't want to start from scratch. He wants to start with number one. And he wants to start with having all of his tools, the wand, the cup, the chalice, the pentacle. These are all the magician's tools that represent an element that he can use to create, okay, and receive messages, okay. So at its heart, the olive tree represents peace, harmony, and reconciliation. Its branches are often seen as open hands, welcoming unity and goodwill. In ancient Greece, Athena gifted the olive tree to Athens, symbolizing wisdom, prosperity, and divine blessing. In the Bible, the olive branch carried by Noah's dove after the flood signaled the end of divine judgment and the promise of new beginnings. And there's really a lot of biblical significance here. Peace and hope. The olive branch is a universal emblem of peace, appearing in Genesis 8:11, and later in Christian symbolism, divine provision. Olive oil was used to anoint anoint kings, okay, and priests, representing God's chosen favor and blessing. Spiritual nourishment. In Romans 11:17-24, Paul uses the olive tree metaphor to describe believers as grafted into God's family, emphasizing faith, unity, and resilience. Culture and mythological roots. Ancient Greece associated with Athena, goddess of wisdom, and a symbol of peace and prosperity. Ancient Rome. Olive branches were crowns for victors. Okay, yeah, symbolizing triumph and honor. Egypt, linked to Isis, goddess of life and magic, with olive tree used in rituals. Islam, the olive tree is called a blessed tree in the Quran, Surah 24:35, symbolizing divine light and healing. Judaism, olive oil lit the temple menorah, representing God's eternal presence. It's almost like the olive tree is a universal symbol linking all cultural and spiritual and religious uh, energy. And that's, I feel like the author's intention is to share his understanding of how the magician links us all together, links, connects us all together. Like, wants to take every different belief system and bring it all under this, like, umbrella or olive branch, if you will, of like, we all can have that in common, that we all believe in something that is bigger and higher than us, like a higher consciousness. And these signs and symbols, we all have our like different way of using them, but it's all kind of like similar, like magic, victory, peace, love. That's all like really positive energy. So healing and cleansing, medicinal properties. Okay, so looking at that, and then we move to network. It's all a network of energy that we're all a part of, and we're all connected because we all live on the same planet together. You know, we're all on the same planet. Um, yeah. So I don't know if any of you saw the movie Holy Grail. Oh, Hail Mary. Hail Mary. That's what it's called, Holy Grail. Hail Mary. There we go. Now I know what I'm talking about. So Hail Mary, okay, with Ryan Gosling. This is what this magician guy looks like to me. It's definitely like, it just came out, so no spoilers, but yeah. And then the spiritual meaning of ivy. And ivy is what is connecting and it's creating all these branches from the stag here. Okay, hands are also really symbolic and spiritual as well. So there's so much here to unpack. So, yeah, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, though, it's like we all are connected in this great network energy. Okay, how we connect to others, it like, and what kind of energy that is, like, it definitely reveals truth. It reveals truth to what he's talking about. Yeah, essential unity of facts to laws, of laws to principles, of principles to essence, of being, all search for truth. Mystical, Gnostic, philosophical, and scientific postulates its existence. The fundamental unity of multiplicity, of phenomena in the world. Yeah. He's pretty much saying that, like, this energy of the magician card is supposed to connect us and teach us truth. Interesting. So, ivy is a deeply symbolic plant in many cultures, representing resilience, loyalty, eternal life, and spiritual growth. Ivy's ability to grow in harsh conditions and thrive where other plants fail makes a universal symbol of perseverance and determination. It teaches that slow, steady progress is still progress, and that growth can be invisible yet real. Exactly. So, its climbing nature symbolizes aspiration and the journey toward higher self awareness. Ivy's adaptability mirrors the need to go with life's changes while staying true to your core. loyalty and friendship, protection and sacredness, heart chakra and emotional balance. Ivy flowers are linked to the heart chakra, representing love, compassion, and forgiveness. Meditating with ivy can help open and balance this energy, fostering emotional harmony. And then throughout different cultures, you have Greek, Roman, associated with Dionysus, Bacchus, symbolizing joy, ecstasy, and celebration. Celtic, revered by Druids as a symbol of the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. Victorian, symbol of fidelity and perseverance in jewelry and bouquets. That's interesting. So, yeah. So, it really is coming down to like balance. It's really coming down to you're finding your truth. And he even brings up C.G. Jung, Carl Jung. Is that the same guy? Yeah, who studied the tarot as well. So again, it's like he really like explored all these different perspectives and definitions of what the magician card means throughout history, throughout different, philosophical beliefs and spiritual beliefs and um, religious beliefs. So, the magician. And also, I'm going to do a chakra reading for you as well, because I feel like when you're in balance, when you're in alignment with yourself, it's like everything starts to make sense. Like you're no longer like questioning everything and anything, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna be myself, like I'm just gonna absorb what information I absorb and do with it what I will do with it, and it just leave it up to like, I don't know, whatever you believe in to yeah. So just let things be as they need to be. And that's the thing too, like about balance and patience and all of that. So the magician is the archetype of magic and sorcery. All the magic of the world resides inside of you. Balance. Again, we go back to balance and network and finding your truth. Okay? So, charisma, dynamic personality, working wonders, ability to take action, purposeful magic, asserting one's will over the self, supreme self-governance, the ability to realize one's full potential, activity and intention, clear and conscious goals. Yeah. And also like the shadow side to the magician, the maniacal need to control all things, interfering with other people's business, manipulation of others for a false sense of power and for personal entertainment, showing off to inflate a sense of personal value, purposefully pushing someone's buttons and seeking reactions, and chaos. Yeah, you gotta like be careful with that because we all have a shadow, and I feel like this energetic upgrade is really trying to like keep you in balance. It's trying to keep your network. I'm getting like nervous system. Like I feel like you might be like experiencing like that sort of energy of like, okay, well, maybe I need to like just calm my mind and just like not be part, like you are already a part of a network, right? But you're like, you need to like, I feel like take a step back from things sometimes, from energy, like just to get yourself back in alignment and balance. And that's what the chakra um reading is all about. That's what like energetic upgrades are. They like, you have the upgrade, and then you're leveling up, you're reaching a new state of like awareness and realizing a lot of new information is coming at you. And at the same time, you're like, okay, well, this is a lot of information at once. Like, I need a little break, And I feel like you also like really connect really well with people. And I just feel like the magician, like, even though like the magician can seem like they have like endless energy, endless potential, like endless power and energy, it's like they still need to like recharge, like you still need to recharge. And that's what the energetic chakra spread is good for, I feel like. So this spread should be done as a meditation and visualization along with a card reading. Shuffle and place 7 cards before you face down. Proceed to interpret each card. As you turn each card, imagine that chakra opening and spinning in your body while simultaneously focusing on the card's message. Okay? So I'm only going to use the major arcana because it goes with the theme of meditation that from the book I'm reading. So we have the root base of spine, your security, and we have the high priestess. Okay. And that's really where the balance begins. Okay. So we have the high priestess. This is your security here. Okay. So let's channel in the high priestess energy. So let's see what the high priestess has to say. She literally is saying, once upon a time, and the story begins. Yeah. So pretty much, anyone can read tarot, it says here. You don't need special powers to read the cards. You're already a master storyteller. Allow the tarot to become your storytelling tool. We are all narrators who assign meaning to everything that happens to us. We all possess sensitive, intuitive abilities. It is what makes us human. Trust yourself and your imagination as you approach the cards. Enjoy the experience without the fear of getting it wrong. Yeah, and that's what this whole energetic upgrade collective reading that I'm doing is all about. It's all about like just doing random stuff, like improv, just to like trying to make sense of the energetic upgrades, trying to make sense of the collective energy. And it might not make sense. And that might be the conclusion that collectively y'all come to. It's like nothing makes sense anymore. What's once was up is now down. What's like what was down is now up. Like that is a magician though too. Is like the magician says, tell you what the magician says. As above is below. I'm pretty sure is what it is. Anyways, so that being said, okay, all right, that being said, okay, the high priestess is all about intuition, mystery, and divine feminine energy. The high priestess symbolizes deep intuition, the mysteries of the subconscious, and the power of the divine feminine. This card represents a connection to the hidden realms of knowledge and a heightened awareness of the unseen. The high priestess encourages you to trust your inner wisdom, instincts, and psychic abilities. It signifies a time of introspection, reflection, and assessing spiritual insights. The High Priestess card invites you to explore the realms beyond the material and embrace the power of the intuitive and mysterious aspects of life. And that is exactly what we're doing. Okay? So, I'm interested to know what this author says about the High Priestess card. So, let's see what their interpretation of the High Priestess is. The High Priestess. Dear unknown friend, as set forth in the preceding letter, the magician is the acronym of intellectual geniality and cordiality, the acronym of true spontaneity. concentration without effort, and the perception of correspondences in accordance with the law of analogy. Okay. Are the principal implications of this acronym of spiritual divinity? It is the arcanum of pure act of intelligence, but the pure act is like fire or wind. It appears and disappears, and when exhausted, it gives way to another act. The wind blows where it wills, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know whence it comes or whither it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit. Okay, that makes sense though with the magician though, because I feel like the magician has always gotten this like more masculine side of it. Like it's like it's always a guy, right? So, yeah. Let's see. Interesting. Okay, so the second acronym, the High Priestess, is that of the reflection of the pure act of the first acronym up to the point where it becomes a book. It shows us how fire and wind become science and book, or in other words, how wisdom builds her house. As we have pointed out, one becomes conscious of pure active intelligence only by means of its reflection. We require an inner mirror in order to be conscious of the pure act or to know whence it comes or whither it goes. The breath of the Spirit or the pure act of intelligence is certainly an event, but it does not suffice itself alone for us to become conscious of its conscientiousness. Consciousness is the result of two principles, the active activating principle and the passive reflecting principle. In order to know from where the breath of the Spirit comes and where it goes, water is required to reflect it. This is why the conversation of the Master with Nicodemus, to which we have referred, enunciates the absolute condition for the conscious expert's experience of the divine spirit or the kingdom of God. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of God. Truly, truly, the Master refers here twice to truth. Okay. Yeah. This time it's all about the word of truth. It's almost like the magician looks and searches for the truth, and the high priestess, she delivers that truth via the book. Okay. Um, yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense because the high priestess is usually depicted with a book or a scroll. Okay. So the magician searches for the truth, and the high priestess, um, she writes the book, you know? She's the ghost writer. I don't know where I'm going with that. I just, that's interesting though. Okay. So then we have sacral, and that's number 2, and that's your sexuality. Okay. So, ooh, the world, number 21. 2 and 1 make 21. Wow. Interesting. This is like, I'm dying. I am dying inside right now. Like, this is hilarious. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Let's look at the world card, okay? Shall we? All right. I think we shall. Oh my god. This is hilarious. I love this. Okay. The world. Completion, fulfillment, and wholeness. In its upright position, I'm really trying to be serious. I really am. The world card symbolizes completion, fulfillment, and wholeness. This card represents a time when you have reached a significant milestone or achieved a state of wholeness and integration. The world signifies a sense of accomplishment and the realization of your goals. It encourages you to embrace the sense of fulfillment and celebrate your achievements. The world card is a symbol of harmony, balance, and the recognition of your place in the grand scheme of things. What was the magician searching for? His truth. his purpose. He obviously shared these messages with the high priestess, who pretty much put them all in this book, wrote it all down, and then integration. Now you know your place. I guess now we know our place. Okay, collective. Energetically, and the world network. Okay? Networking. There you go. We all know what networking is. Okay. All right. So, sacral, the world, your sexuality. Okay. So, that being said, okay, I'm going to share with you the world's energy from this book, The Darkwood Tarot. 21. And then we're going to compare it to the Meditations on Tarot. The world is the archetype of integration. You are the universe. The world is the ultimate card, the grand finale of the major arcana. It is the sweet spot of life when all energies mingle inside and outside, meeting the ecstatic union. Your desire is met. You share your gifts with the world. You hold nothing back. You are fully alive and present. The outer world manifests and greets you with everything you have ever desired. It is the ultimate state of bliss. Travel, excitement, and movement, going with the flow, lost in the moment, complete integration with the world around you, effortless ease, freedom of the self, you in all your glory, victory, magic, you as you were, always meant to be, success, infinity, grace, and magnetic. Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like it really is kind of like the perfect definition of the sacral energy. Like it comes into contact, like it's two bodies of energy into a complete, like it said, um, you greet, it's like being fully alive and present. It's meeting the ecstatic union of two energies, the magician and the high priestess. Desires are met. All right. It's kind of like, it's got that like yin and yang, masculine and feminine. You share your gifts with the magician and all their worlds and all their network, and they share all their gifts with you. It's just like all together, everything completes itself and makes it a whole. That's why you have two and one together. Interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at the world card from this book. Okay, the world. Dear unknown friend, the above quotations are a musical prelude to the 22nd major arcana of the tarot, the world. See, he changed it to 22 because he added in the Fool card. So instead of starting at 0, he placed the Fool card as 21 and the World card as 22. So that's interesting. I mean, 1 plus 1 is 2. I don't know. 2 plus 2 is 4. I don't know. Is this guy into just switching up numbers and stuff? I don't know. So the card represents a naked woman in a garland, dancing and holding a wand in the left hand and a fig tree in the right. She is wearing a scarf thrown lightly across her shoulder. In the four corners of the card, one sees the angel and the eagle above, and the bull and the lion below. The four sacred animals thus enclose the garland in which the naked dancer with her floating scarf is dancing. Okay, so he's doing his like analysis off this card here, which is from the Tarot of Marseille, I believe. Okay. So, thus, the first ideas which come to mind in looking at the card are those of dance, of flowering, and of the four elements. This dark wood book interpretation, a little bit different. A little bit. um, so, yeah. Okay. But then if you look at this one, it's a woman with the animals that he described and the scarf. Okay. This card, different. There's always a different, like, meaning, but there's also always a similar meaning, right? So the world, it's up for interpretation. How we perceive things, how we experience things that occur to us while we live here. Go figure. Who knew? Which in the first place turn the mind towards such problems as the essence of movement, of growth, and of the spontaneous wisdom that we call instinct. The first impression of the card is therefore as if the last major arcanum of the tarot would suggest a conception of the world as rhythmic movement or dance of the female psyche, sustained by means of the orchestral accomplishment of the four primordial instincts, which give the appearance of a rainbow of colors and forms, or, in other words, that the world is a work of art. This idea is portrayed in a most impressive way by Edward Carpenter in his work The World as a Work of Art. This is a tantamount to the thesis that the world is fundamentally neither a mechanism nor an organism, nor even a social community, neither a school on a grand scale, nor a pedagogical institution for living beings, but rather a work of divine art, at one and the same time a choreographed musical, poetic, dramatic work of painting, sculpture, and architecture. Is this truly the last acronym of the 22 major arcana of the tarot? Does the series of 22 spiritual exercises, each destined to teach how to find and employ a key to the mystery of the world, truly end with a meditation and an understanding of the world as a work of art? And didn't he say something about a key in the beginning? I'm pretty sure he mentioned a key. Unlocking something. Was it the truth? Maybe. I guess, yeah. So, he says, is this the last acronym of the 22 major arcana of the tarot? Does the series of 22 spiritual exercises, each destined to teach how to find and employ a key to the mystery of the world, truly end with a meditation and an understanding of the world as a work of art? The card suggests it is, but in order to arrive at certainty, there is no other way than that of a profound meditation. This is the only way that certainty can be attained. Let us therefore follow the general suggestion that the context of the card conveys. The idea of the world as a work of art is implicit in all cosmogonies, which explain the origin of the world through a creative act or through a series of creative acts, as is the case of Moses' Genesis creation, whatever its mode may be, entails the I'm not going to even say it. Rearranging of pre-existing matter from a chaotic state into a cosmic state, where the transformation from primordial chaos into cosmos is intangible only by analogy with the magical art of the magic of art. Wow. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it's a work of art, right? The world is a work of art. The energy is creating more works of art. You're like endlessly creating like more and more divine art, music, poetry, dramatic works of painting, sculptures, and architecture. These are all works of art because they're all creations. And Yeah, they're all like, I feel like the way the author is explaining it, it's like art is energy that takes material form that you can read. Like, you can read a poem, it's literal, it's, you can read it. A painting, you can see it, you can visualize it. Sculptures, music, the creation, architecture, designing of buildings, it's all works of art. It's just a stored up energy that gets channeled into something physical. Well, I mean, music, you can hear it, right? Paint, you can see it. um, these are all like sensorial things as well, too. So it's really interesting. Rainbows, yeah, I love how he talks about like rainbows, a female psyche, movement, dance. That's very interesting. Um, So it says here, completion, fulfillment, wholeness. In its upright position, the world card symbolizes completion, fulfillment, and wholeness. This card represents a time when you have reached a significant milestone or achieved a state of wholeness and integration. The world signifies a sense of accomplishment and realization of your goals. It encourages you to embrace the sense of fulfillment and celebrate your achievements. The world card is a symbol of harmony, balance, and the recognition of your place in the grand scheme of things. And I feel like collectively, what this is saying, you are part of like a network of, like, I want to say like creators, like you are creating constantly. And whatever you're creating is a form of your expression, it's an expression of who you are artistically, I feel like. And it's also like your instincts too, you're letting your instincts guide you toward what, or to what you are trying to create. It's very interesting. um hmm. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look now at the next chakra, and we have the solar plexus, and we have your power. Okay, so what card are we gonna draw with that? Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, judgment. That's a good one. People use their power to judge others in this world. Number 20. Some for good, some for bad, right? Some judgments are not always accurate. Others are very accurate. Shockingly, shockingly powerful and true. Um, so solar plexus, your power. Okay. Okay. So judgment. So that's going to be probably before. Yeah, the judgment. Here we are. Okay. Judgment is a major theme in the Bible. So I'm really interested to know what the author has to say about that. Moral, logical. Yeah, morals, logic, emotion. Interesting. Okay. Dear unknown friend, the card that we have before us bears the traditional name, the Judgment, and what it represents is the resurrection of the dead at the sound of the trumpet of the angel of resurrection. It is a matter, therefore, of spiritual exercise where the use of intuition, that of the 19th acronym, the Sun, has to be carried into a maximum, the theme of resurrection being of the order of last things, but all the same accessible to intuitive cognition. Now the last things, or the spiritual horizon of humanity, are not the same for the whole of humanity. For some, everything finishes with the death of the individual and with the complete dissipation, maximum entropy of the warmth of the universe. For others, there is a beyond, an individual existence after death, and an existence of non-material universe after the end of the world. For still others, there is not only spiritual life after death for the individual, but also his return to the terrestrial life, reincarnation, as well as cosmic reincarnation, an alternation of states of Manvantara and Pralaya. Others again see for the individual something beyond repeated incarnations, namely the state of supreme peace of union with the eternal and universal being, the state of nirvana. Lastly, there is a part of mankind whose essential horizon goes beyond not only post-mortem existence and reincarnation, but also beyond the peace of union with God. It is resurrection which constitutes their spiritual horizon. It is in the Iranian and Judeo Christian spiritual currents, in Zoroastrianism, Judaism, and Christianity that the ideal of resurrection has taken root. The advent of the idea and ideal of resurrection was as lightning coming from the east and shining as far as the west. The inspired prophet of the east, namely the great Zarathustra in Iran, and the inspired prophets of the west, Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel in Israel, announced it almost simultaneously. Then he, Sashoyant, shall restore the world, which will thenceforth never grow old and never die, never decay and never perish, ever live and ever increase, and be master over its wish. When the dead will rise, when life and immortality will come, and the world will be restored at God's wish. Zamiyad Yash Trisarpi Masini, the religion of the good life, Zoroastrianism. Okay. Here is expressed the Zoroastrian idea concerning the the resurrection from the dead. The prophet Isaiah says of it, "The dead shall live, their bodies shall rise. O dwellers in the dust, awake and sing for joy. For the dew is a dew of light. For thy dew is a dew of light. And on the land of the shades thou wilt let it fall." Interesting. Okay. Well, yeah. Mm, yeah. Okay. Cycles of sickness. Interesting. Okay. So I feel like, okay. Yeah, I feel like judgment again, it's like your power, your persuasion, your interpretation, your truth, your narrative, your book. It has power, your story. How are you writing it? Like, what judgments do you place? I mean, the author himself is like trying to write without judgment, but he's also like telling you what information he's found on what judgment is and what judgment looks like. So throughout cultures, okay? So at the end of the story is that after treating him accordingly, the ill person being healed gets up. Interesting. He talks about someone being ill through pity, through death, suffering, in vain. It would better be to put an end to his suffering and to give him through pity and death. Interesting. Cycles. Yeah. Okay. There's like a lot of power in writing somebody else's narrative and their story through your own perception, because your own perception is a form of judgment. Um, like life without judgment, like living your life without fear of being judged. Like I see that all the time, like who cares what other people think of you? It really comes down to like what you think of yourself. How do you judge yourself? That's a very empowering perspective to have. I feel like a lot of people don't always have that, like they kind of like judge other people, make their own assessments, and then make their decisions based off of without going to the person, like asking them directly, like, what was your experience, how did you encounter that. That's without judgment, because you're asking the questions, like, why are you doing this, how did this come to be. That's not asking with judgment, that's asking without judgment. That's asking that you're like opening that door to finding the truth. But that's really not how the world, right? That's not how these other I want to say, like, religions, like there's the paganism. Here he talks about how there's spiritual humanism is that of people who raise themselves above the pure and simplicity of spiritual naturism, and who protest in the name of the individual being. Again, it's the intermittent chain of cyclicity. Yeah, but like you can see it though. I feel like you can see it. I feel like you guys are watching this. I feel like you see the cycles and you ask the questions and you try to get the answers. That sounds so corny, but I mean you do though, and you actually try to understand to a point, obviously, because if you're going to be around someone who's just going to repeat the same cycle over and over again, you're just going to be like, okay, I don't know, just wrapping your mind around it, like you're just like, okay, that like catalyst, that transformation, you have passed the point of no return. Judgment is the archetype of transformation. Not everyone is going to transform. That's the key there too, is like not everyone is going to transform. Some people are going to stay in their cycles. I feel like a lot of you like hold the key to the like unlocking the door to truth in your lives, and I feel like you try to not like, obviously, like you have your own key, you have your own door, but I feel like you also are able to create like the possibility that other people can open the door if they so choose. I feel like you can also like teach them how to like um, find the key, or like remind them that they are the key, sort of. The choice is made. Wake up call, eternal change. Nothing will ever be the same. Evolution is at hand. Rebirth, heeding the call of your heart, unfolding joy. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you really just like figured that out, that like the transformation of the soul is complete. Um what is true for you is true for the world. You change, the world changes. As above, so below. The transformation of the soul is complete. That's your energetic upgrade. That's your power. That's your transformation. Um, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. I feel like you've got your power back, or like you never gave it away to begin with. I just feel like you were trying really hard. Like I feel like collectively like there's just this feeling of like constantly like trying to help other people break their own cycles, break their own patterns. And at some point, at some time, you just have to just let it play out. See if they change or not. See if they're willing to transform or not. Yeah. But you keep transforming, I feel like. I feel like you keep upgrading. Like that's the whole like theme of this reading, is energetic upgrade. I feel like you've leveled up here. Heart, your empathy. See, that's where you want to like help people when you see them stuck in the same cycles. Is your empathy. So, and that comes from your heart chakra. Go figure. We have the sun. Oh, we have the horse, the sun, and the sunflowers. So beautiful. Number 19. Okay, I'm sensing a pattern here. It's going 1, 2, 21, 20, and now 19. Okay. That's okay, because I did shuffle these cards. Pretty sure I shuffled them. Okay, so heart and your empathy, and we have the sun. Let's see. Okay. Also, 20, judgment, rebirth, renewal, awakening, and then you open yourself up to a fresh start, a significant new chapter in your life. It encourages you to assess your past actions, make amends, and embrace a higher state of consciousness. The Judgment card is a symbol of redemption, personal growth, and the potential for a new beginning. I feel like you are that new beginning, like you are just like a breath of fresh air, you're just like the warm sun. It's just this beautiful energy of feeling like anything can happen, but like you're not like you're not naive. That's for sure. This level up, this energetic upgrade, it's like this isn't my first rodeo. Like this isn't my first, you know, it's not your first rodeo, okay? you know, the sun, okay. Joy, success, illumination. In its upright position, the sun card symbolizes joy, success, and illumination. This card represents a time when you are basking in the radiant energy of happiness and abundance. The sun signifies a period of clarity and enlightenment where all is revealed and obstacles are overcome. It encourages you to embrace the positive aspects of life, be open to growth, and enjoy the blessings that come your way. The sun card is a symbol of positivity, vitality, and the potential for achieving your goals. Interesting. Okay, so that being said, okay, your empathy here. I feel like because you have so much empathy in your heart, it's easy for you to want to like almost like please everyone or please everybody. But really at like the end of the day, it's like in your heart you can't do that. Because then you would be betraying your own heart. So you do have to like express how you feel, even if it makes people like uncomfortable, or even if it just like makes people like wake up and realize like what they're doing or what you're doing. You're like, okay, well, you do you, but I'm gonna do me, and like whatever, like that's cool. But boundaries are really important at the same time. Okay, so that being said, okay, let's move into the sun energy. We have to read from the book that we're actually doing the chakra energetic spread from, because if we don't, it just like makes no sense. All right, so let's take a look here. The sun. So the sun, expansion, renewal, and growth, brilliance and beauty, pregnancy, the unfolding of the heart's desire, pleasure, productivity, recognition of achievement. Okay. The sun is the archetype of the creator. Health and vitality flourish. Wow. I really love this because it's like the health and vitality are yours. It really is your energy, okay? And I feel like you're going to be part of a network of energy that corresponds with this sun energy that you have right now, this heart empathy energy that you have right now. You're really like, I feel like the universe is like, it's not going to open a door to something that negative that you don't want. Like you can hand out as many invitations as you want. You can like throw out as much information as you want. Like at the end of the day though, I feel like if you're not getting like a response of like energy that's positive and like flourishing and creative and healthy and feels like vital to you, okay, and fuels your heart chakra, I feel like you're not going to fuel it back. Like as soon as you get the sense that's like, okay, I've already like expressed my sun energy, if it's not going to be reciprocated, I'm not going to respond. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and you're also going to conserve it too, I feel like you're not willing to like just be available all the time for everything and everyone. Like you're going to be very selective. Okay? So the sun, dear unknown friend, the preceding acronym, the moon, confronted us with the task of human intelligence to liberate itself from the magical, which separates from spontaneous wisdom and to unite itself with the latter, to arrive at intuition. The 19th acronym, the sun, is that of the accomplished union of intelligence and spontaneous wisdom. The acronym of intuition. Intuition is what results from the intimate and profound alliance of intelligence and spontaneous wisdom. Now the card of the 19th acronym represents two children placed under the sun, where the one puts his right hand on the neck of the other, as if he wanted to draw his head near to himself. Whilst the other touches with his left hand the place on the body of the first, where his heart is to be found. These two children thus represent intelligence endowed with childlike confidence with regard to the spontaneous wisdom of the heart, and spontaneous childlike wisdom, which uses the language of the heart and which tends to draw the attention of the head, intelligence to what it has to say. The image is therefore of two children united by bonds of reciprocal confidence without reserve, where the one indicates and the other understands. Placed under the sun, one could hardly better represent the relationship of intelligence and spontaneous wisdom brought into play in intuition than as it is in the card of the acronym the sun. For this relationship presupposes such purity of intention as is found only with a child, and to postulate such reciprocal confidence without a shadow of a doubt or suspicion which belongs naturally to children. Lastly, this relationship excludes tendencies to domination and authority, to pose as a pontiff and to pride oneself on the eminence of the guru or master whose favor one enjoys, which tendencies are also foreign to children. Yeah. And also it corresponds to Gemini better than the typical Lover's card. Because the zodiacal constellation brings in the longest day to us, says Oswald Rith. Thus, locating the 19th acronym in the zodiacal circle of 12 cosmic mysteries, or speaking in the language of C.G. Jung, in the circle of 12 archetypal force images of the collective unconscious which work in the depths of every human soul. For the zodiac is that which the human soul knows unconsciously. It is the book which the soul once ate, and which is present and active only in its bowels, and the depths of its being, from whence it renders him strong or weak, fertile or arid, fervent or tepid, according to whether he is in harmony or not with its teaching impulse. Now the teaching impulse, called Gemini, can be expressed by paraphrasing a little the first statement of the Emerald Table of Hermes. May that which is below be as that which is above, and may that which is above be as that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of one thing. Struggle of existence, advanced by Charles Darwin as the principle of evolution called Sagittarius. Nature furnishes us at the same time with a great number of proofs of the principle of cooperation in the process of evolution, perhaps as many proofs as there are of the struggle for existence. The proofs are of a kind such that one could uphold the principle of cooperation to be worthy as a directing principle of natural evolution, with the same justification as the principle of struggle may be upheld. Bees are flowering plants cooperate. Air, light, and plants cooperate in photosynthesis, where the miracle of the transformation of organic matter into organic matter takes place, where stones are transformed into bread. And lastly, if mankind had not cooperated more than it had struggled, it would not only have achieved the international civilization of our time, but it probably would have been annihilated. Yeah. And I feel like this comes through with your heart and your empathy. Just like respecting, like, I feel like the inner child within us all, like just that very vulnerable innocence that we also carry with us, that never leaves us. That's where empathy comes from. I feel like the author really got this down really well with the Sun card. So then we move to throat and we move to your speech, okay? I'm going to have to invest in a highlighter, I think, for this book because, yeah, it's been a while since I used a highlighter. I probably have not used a highlighter since high school, to be honest, but I think I need one now. Yeah. So throat and speech is the fifth chakra. The moon. Oh, there you go. You go from empathy to speech and your feelings being expressed through your voice and your speech and through talking. And the moon is illuminating. The sun is illuminating. The sun illuminates and the moon illuminates. So the moon also, though it does give way to illusion, but it also gives way to intuition, and it also gives way to unconsciousness. In its upright position, the moon card symbolizes illusion, intuition, and the unconscious mind. This card represents a time when things may not be as they seem, and hidden truths or aspects of the unconscious come to the surface. The moon signifies the power of intuition and the need to navigate through the mysteries of the subconscious. It encourages you to trust your inner guidance and explore the depths of your emotions and intuitions. The moon card is a symbol of dreams, illusions, and the connection to the hidden realms of the mind. So I feel like you're not like I feel like you're not like fully I don't know. I don't know what I feel like there's something hidden here. Like I feel like I feel like you're not speaking like a lot. I don't know why I'm getting that. I really don't. I mean, I think you do speak. I just think you choose your words very carefully. So let's take a look at the moon. So it says here, dear unknown friend, the prohibition to Lot and his family against looking back. David's sin in having numbered the people of Israel and the characteristic traits of human intelligence, as opposed to intuition, formulated by Henry Bergson, have this in common, that they relate to the problem of the inversion of the forward movement of life. They relate to the problem of retrograde movement. Now it is the problem of retrograde movement contrary to that of life, which is suggested spontaneously by the card of the 18th major arcana of the tarot, the moon. It is the antithesis of the 17th arcana, the star. For if the later evokes ideas, feelings, and impulses of will relating to the evolution of life and consciousness concerning their infinite development, the former evokes ideas, feelings, and impulses of will relating to the inversion of the evolutionary movement of life and consciousness to their envelopment, arrest of movement and retrograde movement. Instead of the current which flows and the verdant shrubs of the card of the 17th arcana, we find the stagnant water of a swamp and two rigid stones towers in the card of the 18th acronym. Instead of the naked woman who makes the current, which continues in its flow, emanate from the two vases, we find an image of the most enveloped or shielded creature, the crayfish. At the bottom of the swampy basin, okay, see, this is where it gets a little bit different here because you have the moon. He's talking about this card, this interpretation. Then you have this moon card where there's like a whole castle and a moon and two wolves. Okay. And then you have the moon card from my Darkwood shadow book. So, okay. Yeah, he's really comparing this a lot to the star. So I'm going to show you the star and the moon in this book because I think it's going to be a little bit easier to explain it, the symbolism of that. Because I really, I think sometimes it's easier to just understand the message. Yeah, Book of Shadows. Yeah. I feel like if you're really going to understand something here and the energetic upgrade here, you're not going to be able to make sense of just the theoretical or the scientific, no, or the literal. Sometimes you have to like go deeper than just the physical. Okay, so for instance, he keeps talking about the star. The star is the archetype of healing. Universal alignment is your natural state. You're literally here to align yourself. Like you're collectively deciding that you want to energetically upgrade your life. You want to level up. You want to reach a higher state of consciousness. Like you want to take bigger, bolder choices with your life. You don't want to stay in stagnant cycles. You don't want to constantly be people pleasing and putting so much energy, life force into people, places, and things that are just not energetically going to give you what you need. And you don't want to be constantly like chasing energy either. And I just feel like sometimes it comes across as that, or sometimes you feel stuck in that because that is another cycle that you kind of just have to like take a break from for a while, break free from for a bit, like focus back on your meditations, focus back on your chakra alignment. So inspiration, minimalism, motivation, creating a new reality, emotional clearing, gifts of the heart and soul, belief, peace, pleasure, space, cleared, hope, and optimism. The moon is the archetype of mystery. Portents are seen in the mind's eye and felt in the body. Again, though, I feel like the subconscious communicates directly with your highest consciousness. So even though your subconscious, even though you're like getting a sense of something, you're feeling something, your highest consciousness, it's like the editor. It's like it's that, it's your conscious. It literally is telling you like, okay, maybe that makes sense to you, or maybe that feels like energetically like deeply embedded in something that you're feeling or sensing. However, know when it's the appropriate time, know when it's the right time. Like, timing is everything. I feel like timing is so essential here. I feel like, yeah, dreams, nighttime psychic activity, and the paranormal, an idea, thought, or thing inside your subconscious is ready to rise and be seen. Imagination, visions, dark magic. Yeah, so I feel like for you, it's like this is like a sacred time for you. Like, right now, like at night, right? When you're having your dreams, when you're getting your visions, when your brain is literally like processing information that you've received all day and making sense of it. And then when you wake up and you rise with the sun, that is when there is no more illusion. That's when there's truth. That's when, like, it's like you have reached joy, you have reached success, you have reached illumination, because at night when you're sleeping, your subconscious, your unconscious is in that realm and sphere of like making sense of everything, you're processing everything. So when you wake up, what is the message that you are going to receive? It's one of joy, it's one of success, it's one of illumination, it's one of being open to positivity and enlightenment and clarity, where all is revealed and obstacles are overcome. It encourages you to embrace the positive aspects of life, to be open to growth and enjoy the blessings that come your way. Okay, so you're gonna have to like, you I feel like you go to sleep, right, and you have this vivid imagination, you have these vivid dreams, there's all this psychic activity happening. You wake up and you've overcome so much already, and now you're ready for the next thing and the next thing, right? You're ready for a new set of challenges, but now you're able to make sense of it. So yeah, falling upwards. Yeah, I mean, you're manifesting creative light here. Now human consciousness is the field where three kinds of light are manifesting. There's creative light, reflected light, and revealed light. You're seeing all three of these. So okay, so moving into the next chakra, because I feel like we covered speech and empathy. Third eye, your intuition. Yeah. Okay. We have the devil. Wow. Okay. That's hilarious. That is freaking hilarious. Okay. So I wonder what this guy, author, says about this. And okay. The devil is the archetype of the shadow. Make fear your friend and turn obstacles into allies. The labyrinth awaits, says Temperance, as she points behind the witch to a gaping opening in a massive wooded maze leading into corridors of darkness. The witch takes a deep breath, knowing she must enter. The only way out of the wood is to move through each experience, each lesson. Perhaps she was dreaming. Did it matter? She turns back to see Temperance has vanished. The witch takes a deep breath and enters the corridor of knotted trees. Your shadow becomes an ally when embraced. Fear is never an effort to avoid. Avoidance equals indifference. Think of how it feels to be shunned or fined without someone just doesn't care. Fear is realizing the value of a thing. The thought of losing such a thing becomes more terrifying than actually having it. Fear points us to where we want to go. This is why challenge cards are the heart of a tarot. All right. This is why challenge cards are the heart of a tarot spread and the defining moment of any story. The shadow is every fear, tarot, talent, desire, wish, and expression buried within the wells of the subconscious. The devil is a mythological creature springing from the human ego. The ego is the false construction of our personality, the idea of who we think we are. It is entirely self-created. We need not destroy our ego. We simply need to recognize it for what it is and no longer be controlled by it. Labyrinth patterns appear across the natural spectrum in galaxies, seashells, and even snails. We enter mental labyrinth when dealing with loss, confusion, darkness, and fear. Walk the maze to discover your shadow because he conceals himself well. Tricks and illusions would have us think our ego is ready to wage battle with him. What do you fear? Who are you vilifying? What makes you angry and upset? What, asks the devil, do you want more than anything? The devil stands as a terrifying other and as cultural scapegoat. The devil wants to keep you enslaved, angry, and scared because this is where he draws his power. He thrives on addiction, negative energy, and extreme control. The devil is called the dweller on the threshold because once he is slayed and integrated, infinite possibilities appear. Slay the dweller and set yourself free, just as the Page of Swords is about to do. Page of Swords. Yeah. So, and as for the Page of Swords, okay, is the detective. And what are you seeking? The truth. And what has infinite possibilities? The magician. You're bringing yourself back into that realm, into that possibility that you are starting to unpack the truth of a situation without emotion, honest and ethical and ready to help anyone who needs it, brave and wise beyond one's years, an old soul. So even if you love solving problems, right? Figuring out mysteries, smart and studious, a passion for ciphers and number games, a puzzle solver, gaze beneath the surface, unpacking the truth of a situation without emotion, a clever, bright-eyed attitude, looking between the lines, solving problems and figuring out the mysteries. That's what you're doing. I mean, you're not letting the devil, the shadow energy, control you. You know it's there. You're not scared of it. And it's almost like whatever fear you feel in the labyrinth, you channel into something of solving the mystery, uncovering the truth, seeking answers and clarity. This is all about, this is your intuition, this is your third eye. You're using that part of yourself to seek answers and find those answers. And yeah, it's a really, really solid place to be when it comes to your chakra alignment. Like just not being scared of facing the shadow, not being scared of being in the labyrinth of your own mind. Crown is your highest self. Okay, that's the last one here. And we have the star. This is your highest self. And, you know, obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably into astrology, and that has everything to do with the planets and the stars. And each star that makes up, hold on. Yeah, so each astrological sign, okay, is made up of stars that form a constellation. And then you get your star sign, your main star, your name for your constellation. Okay? So, and that's what creates this beautiful network, right? So the star is your highest self. And I'm going to tell you what the star says here. Hope, inspiration, spiritual guidance. In its upright position, the star card symbolizes hope, inspiration, and spiritual guidance. This card represents a time when you are filled with a sense of optimism and inspiration, often after a period of difficulty or challenge. The star signifies a renewed connection to your spiritual self and the presence of divine guidance. It encourages you to have faith in the future and to follow your aspirations. The star card is a symbol of healing, inspiration, and the potential for wishes to come true. And I really love that for you. Like, oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. That's just like a great way to end this energetic chakra spread. It's so beautiful. I just love it so much. Okay, so the star. Yes, and our author did mention the star in here with the moon. So we're getting into the good parts here. Now, this book is very interesting, I will say. It definitely, the author definitely did some, like, a deep dive for sure. Ooh, the snake eating its own tail. That's interesting. I'm going to show you this. I actually was, like, looking this symbol up the other day because I thought it would make, like, a really cool tattoo. But, like, I was like, first of all, I want to, like, understand this, like, a little bit more deeper than my original understanding. Just, like, different interpretations. But I can tell you, like, what is this snake eating its own tail mean spiritually. Hold on. There's a term for it. It's called aura. So, Ouroboros. The Ouroboros, a symbol of a snake eating its own tail, represents the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth, embodying concepts of infinity and self-renewal. Origins and historical significance. The term Ouroboros comes from the ancient Greek words aura, tail, and bora, eating, literally meaning tail eater. This symbol has been found in various cultures, with some of the earliest representations dating back to ancient Egypt around 1300 BCE. It was depicted in the tomb of Tutankhamun, symbolizing the cyclical nature of life and the universe, particularly associated with the sun god Ra. The Ouroboros is often represented as interpreted as a representation of eternity and the cyclical nature of existence. It signifies how life consumes itself and is reborn, reflecting the idea that endings are also beginnings. This self-sustaining cycle is a powerful metaphor for transformation and renewal, resonating across various philosophical and spiritual traditions, including Gnosticism and Hermeticism, where it symbolizes divine unity and the interconnectedness of all things. It's appeared in different contexts: ancient Egypt, Greek, and Roman philosophy. All things are interconnected and constantly changing. Modern culture, network. The Ouroboros remains a profound symbol that transcends time and culture, encapsulating the essence of life's perpetual cycles. Its imagery serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of existence and the continuous process of creation and destruction that defines our reality, whether in ancient texts or modern tattoos. See? Yeah. I mean, it's so cool, though. I love it. The Ouroboros continues to inspire reflection on the nature of life and the universe. It would make a really cool tattoo. I did have a oracle card somewhere that I was inspired by. Maybe I'll find it later and share it. Yeah. Okay. So that is connected to this star energy. So yeah. Dear unknown friend, the 16th major arcanum of the tarot presented us with the alternative of two ways, that of construction and that of growth. And it portrayed the dangers of the way of construction by presenting the law of the Tower of Babel to our hearts and minds. Having understood this, one is led to decide upon the way of our growth. Now the 17th major arcanum of the tarot, the star, is the acronym of growth, just as the 16th acronym is that of construction. Therefore, it is a matter now of spiritual exercise devoted to growth. It is time for us to concentrate on the problem of growth and to meditate on its essential aspects with a view on arriving at a contemplation of its kernel or its mystical, gnostic, magical, metaphysical essence. In a word, as its hermetic essence, let us therefore apply ourselves to the threefold task. A tower is built, a tree grows. The two processes have this in common, that they present a gradual increase in volume with a pronounced tendency upwards. But there is at the same time the difference that the tower rises by leaps and bounds, whilst the tree shows a continuous elevation. This is because bricks or hewn stones are put on top of the other in the process of building the tower, whilst the microscopic bricks, the cells of a tree, multiply through division and growth in volume. It is the sap in the tree rising from the roots into the trunk and branches which renders growth of the tree possible and which makes it shoot up through the multiplication of growth and volume of its cells. Whilst the tower is dry, the tree is filled with sap and movement, which underlines both of the divisions of its cells and their growth. In a word, it underlies the process of growth. Growth is flowing while this construction proceeds by leaps and bounds. And what is true of the artificial and the natural and the physical domain is also true in the psychic and spiritual domain. The righteous flourish like the palm tree. They are ever full of sap and green. Psalm 92. But a downcast spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs 22. Here we are in the presence of a theme of the same significance as that of the astral magical agent, the link between consciousness and action, which so much is made of in occult literature, namely the theme of the universal sap of life, which is the theme of the 17th arcanum, the arcanum of growth. For just as there is a mysterious intermediary agent which affects the passage from the imagination into reality, so there is also a no less mysterious agent which affects the passage from the potential state of a seed to that of maturity. The passage from what is only potential to its realization. This is the agent of transformation from the ideal to the real. So I feel that the author is saying that we all grow and we all are part of this like cellular, I feel, network, a connective energy. And that is within ourselves and that is within the world, and what we create within ourselves and how we compare how the world reacts to our energy on a cellular level. And yes, we can build things and materialize things from our energy, right? The tower, for instance. You can build something. A tree grows. Like, we constantly grow, we constantly build. It's part of life. So I don't know. I feel like you are constantly like growing and leveling up the tower. You're brick by brick. Get there eventually. What you're trying to build, I don't know. No. You're just trying to like exist. You're constantly trying to live an everyday you're living, right? Every day you wake up and you feed yourself and you nourish yourself and you go out in the world and you meet the day and you constantly keep building and feeding yourself, and then you are alive another day and another day and another. So energetic chakra spread. Your highest self is you constantly growing and leveling up and transforming and building. Very, 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 very interesting. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave you with that. I didn't look up the spiritual meaning behind the stag because this is like the creature chosen for the network. So let me just look that up for you, and then very masculine, obviously. The stag symbolizes strength, leadership, renewal, and spiritual guidance, serving as a powerful totem for personal growth and transformation. Strength and power. The stag embodies physical and spiritual strength, resilience, and courage. Its majestic antlers and commanding presence represent the ability to stand firm in the face of challenges and assert oneself with confidence. This strength is not limited to physical prowess, but extends to inner fortitude, encouraging individuals to face life's obstacles with determination and grace. That's exactly what you're doing. Leadership and nobility. You're a natural leader. You're noble, authority, and guidance. Renewal and transformation. Shedding and regrowing antlers. Spiritual guidance and intuition. Cultural and mythological significance. Dignity, independence, and new beginnings. Encouraging a stag, whether in nature, dreams, or meditation, can be a reminder to stand tall and embrace personal strength and courage. Step into leadership roles with integrity and wisdom. Trust in cycles of renewal and personal transformation. Connect with spiritual guidance and intuition. Embrace new beginnings with dignity and clarity. The stag's spiritual essence encourages a harmonious balance between power and grace, guiding individuals toward growth, resilience, and a deeper connection with the natural and spiritual worlds. So, yeah, really beautiful overall. So, there's your energetic upgrade collective. Hopefully, your chakras are aligned, or at least you have the answers you need for alignment and the energy and required and information required to transform and level up and keep growing and expanding every single day. Alrighty, bye. Love and light always.